Any artist that is in pursuit of a career is facing fear, obsessive self-judgment, overthinking, mental and emotional barriers. My name is Luther Mallory. This is the State of the Artist podcast.
State of the Artist podcast, Season 2, Episode 1. It's 2021, people. And it's still all fucked up. And this season is going to be all about the pandemic because we are suffering. Artists are suffering here. Everybody I hear from is suffering. Everybody I talk to who's a friend of mine, I go, hey, does anybody that you know not suffering from depression? And they're like, everybody feels shitty. Everybody knows. So this season has got to be that. It's been 3 months since the last season because it took me 3 months to get the guts together, to have the momentum to go again on this. I tried several times to write new episodes, and I couldn't think of shit I wanted to talk about, and it wasn't because I wasn't creative or had no ideas. Really, it was because I had no momentum and no motivation, because 2020 kicked the shit out of me as it did everybody else. So now I'm both the fattest I've ever been in my stomach and the skinniest I've ever been in my arms, which is interesting. And my hair has receded more in the last 3 or 4 months, and I don't know, I'm almost bald. That's not true, but it's weird, and I'm self-conscious, and I'm insecure, and I have no momentum. And here we go for this season of the podcast. It's perfect because we're talking about the pandemic, and this first episode is about what I just talked about. It's the lack of motivation and momentum we're all facing right now. And what do you do about that? So 2021 showed up, and it took from us artists the one thing that we had that made us feel like we were moving forward. The live performance setting. The one thing that we could do, and we could feel good, maybe make a bit of money, connect with people face to face. It's the goal. Live music, for so many of us, is the goal. And then 2020 came and went like, fuck you guys. No, we're not doing that anymore. And life as an artist in the pursuit of this career was already a treacherous path. Already the most treacherous path. You know, risk and courage. You're just rife with a fascinating level of failure and rejection. And we know this because of how our family members and our friends respond to our career choice. Because they're bewildered. You know, I used to, when I was on tour a long time ago with my old band Crush Luther, we'd go and we'd stay at a fan's house when we were in, Nelson, BC or something like that. And, or a fan's house or a fan's parents' house. And if the parents were there particularly, some 45-year-old guy, he'd always be so pumped that we were there. Always. He'd always be just like, oh, it's great. You guys are doing it. You guys are doing it. I've always wanted to do that, but I couldn't possibly. It's always that stuff. It's like, I wouldn't know how to, I couldn't possibly. I live a normal ass life. And you guys are doing it. And he was right. We were doing it. That's what we do. Us, you, artists. We go, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do some weird shit here. I'm going to take life a different direction and try to figure this thing out. No certainty, failure and rejection, no tangible anything, no structure, just creativity and feelings, and run with that. And people really are bewildered by it. So it's a treacherous path. People are responding there to the risk and the courage. Right? I can't believe you guys are doing this. That's the risk and the courage that they're responding to. So it's a treacherous path that we're on with very few metrics to let us know how we're doing on that path. And then 2020 came and COVID went, fuck you guys. You had this one thing, live music. We're going to take that away from you. And we went, what? What now then? And it's like we were on this path and then a landslide hits the path. And then you stand there at the foot of the landslide and you go, what the fuck now? What now? And this happens in life all the time. Right? On some path, and a landslide hits the path. And when that happens in life, you have a couple of options. You have two, really. Option the first, stand at the landslide, stand at the foot of the landslide, and wait there until the path clears again. You know, afraid and bewildered. Or start hiking through the fucking forest in search of a new path. Those are the two options. Seek a different path or stand there and wait. And what happened to artists when COVID hit is we stood there and we waited because it's too much. Too much to process. What, live music is gone? What? So we stood there and we waited. And when you stand there and you wait in life, that's stagnation, that's lack of progress. That leads to depression and anxiety. Eventually that leads to substance abuse, severe forms of escape, whatever you need to do to survive while waiting. And that's what most of us did. We stood at the landslide and we went, well, fuck. This is already difficult. This is already so treacherous. I'm just going to go into the forest in search of another path. This is already this uncertain, and I got to add more uncertainty. And the universe would have said, yes, that's right. That's what you have to do when you come to this type of thing in life. But most of us got really depressed and didn't have the energy to do the mission into the woods, into the forest in search of the new path. So we stood there at the landslide, and most of us are still standing there, waiting for COVID to end, waiting for normal to come back, waiting for live music to return so we can further progress our careers. And it's depressing here. And it doesn't work. And it's a waste of energy, and it's a waste of time. And we know because we've experienced in other parts of our life when shitty things happen, you need to get off the path because there is another path. So even if the path opens up and live music comes back how it always was, bigger and better than ever maybe, that's not where we're at right now, and we have to stop waiting. It is time. March 2021, a year later, it is time for us to go, oh, you know what? I have to shift with culture here. I have to figure this out. I can't wait here. I can't turn 55 fucking years old, 65 years old, and look back and go, I was trying to do it, and then this pandemic hit, and it fucked everybody who was an artist, and I couldn't get my shit together after that happened. It was too depressing. It killed my momentum. You don't want that 10 or 20 or 30 years from now. And so, it's time to get off the path. It's time to go through the forest with a machete in hand, searching for the new path. And what is the new path? Well, it's obvious that the new path is digital. The new path is online. It's still only 5% of artists that try on social media. 95% of artists post a picture of your face every day and go, here's one of me looking at a staircase over there. Here's one of me looking at a staircase with my hand up like this. You know, and it's that shit. And we mistake that frequently posting is the same as being impactful. And it's not. Because think of the artists that you consume microsecond after microsecond on social media. Think of that. You don't care when you see those photos. Every day you see your artist buddies or other artists and you go, I don't give a shit about that. So it's not impactful. And yet we go, frequency of posting is the strategy. No, it's not. That is the base level shit. Right? And I'm guilty of this. I'm telling you this right now, but I'm guilty of this too, where I've had difficulty getting momentum online. But it is time to look at that space and go, that's where shit is going. Even if the path clears, it's moving online. We're going more towards Wall-E, Matrix. Of course, 2 years from now, we'll be on social media still, but it'll be VR and it'll blow your fucking mind what's happening there. Of course it is. If that's the social media path and that's the old live path, of course things are moving this way. People are going to figure out how to do live online in a way you've never even thought about. And it's time for us to find that path and go, what can I do here that's truly impactful? Because there are people making careers here now. This feels antiquated, this old model of let's tour and be a live musician. I hope it comes back. I'm a live musician. That's my heart and soul. I've played 1,000 shows. That's what I want to do. That does not change the fact that digital is the future and the present. COVID took this thing from us. That was our favorite thing. Fuck you. You took our favorite thing. The one thing that I could connect with people. And the universe goes, yeah, that's right. What now? So what? What happens when a catastrophe hits your life? What happens when a crisis comes? You either stagnate and wait for the path to clear, or you find a new path. And it takes more energy to find a new path, but that's the option that we have. So waiting is finished. 2021 has to be the comeback year, the year leaping into new territory. Machete through the forest shit. Find this new path. Find your lane. How do I impactfully exist in this world? How do I get great as a vocalist, guitarist, DJ, artist? How do I get great? And how do I use this space? It has to happen. And it has to happen. It has to happen now. We can all stand back and we can thank our depression for protecting us for the year. Thank you, depression and anxiety, for attempting to protect me by shutting me down, by going, dude, you're burned out and you're fucking overwhelmed and your brain is on negative 1,000. Cue depression to shut you down because you need rest because you're not taking it. You need to step back for a second. Thank you. Good. Thank you, depression. Now, momentum. Baby step into this thing. Let's get some momentum. Baby step. Bring exercise back. A little bit of meditation. Call your aunt that you never call. Like little things to get some momentum. And that puts you off the path. Oh yeah, okay. That gets me over here. Now I'm searching. Getting energy. And you'll find this new path. And this new path, I guarantee you, is in the digital world. I guarantee it is. Fuck you, COVID. Thank you, depression. It is 2021. This is the State of the Artist podcast. This is the pandemic season. The following episodes are going to be dealing with what do we do here? On the psychology side of how we're behaving and how we feel, and on the strategic side of what do we do in that space. Stay tuned for it. I'm back. And I love you. And I want you to make it. I want you to be happy, and I want you to make it. And I want to make it too. Let's go.